one of the real unhealthy things that's going on in the national debate and the debate that we're having here and all around the country is the fact that we're focusing on both ends of the issue. It seems that all the people in Washington, all they're doing is if you're at the top, you get a bailout. If you're at the bottom, you get a handout. And everybody else in the middle just gets the bill. And all these people, these examples of people that we've been talking about, the young couple that wants to start off and buy a home, they're playing by the rules. They've got their job. They're trying to keep their job and their family together, and they're trying to build a home. And they're the people in the middle that really make our economy work. And those are the people we really need to be focusing on. And it's like the entire debate, it's like particularly our federal government has just forgotten all those people. And we have this huge group of literally forgotten Americans that no one is trying to make sure that we have the ability for those people to make sure and be able to buy a home and build a family and build that strong economic unit that will make Main Street America recover.
Talk to me a little bit about the regulatory challenges here. I mean, a lot of these loans, I believe, were also pushed out in areas that didn't deserve it. You said anyone with a pulse. Well, a lot of that was because of the regulations that said you can't redline. You have to offer loans. That we got into this big push of home ownership. That we want to push ownership. And when government says it's our job to make homeowners and out of renters, I'm wondering if that's really a governmental role, but it seemed to be.
Well, certainly that was a big thing. I think the Bush administration and even before then with the Clinton administration, they wanted to push homeownership, and it did hit record levels. And I think it's a laudable goal in the long term. Is that studies have shown that homeowners, their kids are more likely to finish high school than renters. They're less likely to have teenage pregnancies than renters. They tend to vote more often than renters, as a general rule. And I think it's a very laudable goal. I mean, how can you be against home ownership? It is the American dream. But then some people bought homes who were, probably bought them prematurely. They got in before they should and probably didn't understand it. I mean, you shouldn't be buying a home and then as soon as you buy your home, go out and get a car loan for $750 a month. And a lot of people do that. And it's like, they just keep increasing their debt. And it's sort of no thought of, well, how am I going to pay this back? And then, of course, now if you lose your job, it's all that much worse.
Talk to me a little bit about the regulations specific to Colorado. And I know a lot of people said it's too easy to get a loan in Colorado. Some people said it's too hard. There should be more oversight of brokers. There should be all sorts of other things. I mean, you've seen it from both sides. Not only the guy who puts the deals together, does the financing, but for many years as a Colorado state senator, you've gotten the pressure on both sides. Where are we and where do you think we're heading?
Well, the most important thing that we need in the United States today related to the economic troubles that we're facing and specifically related to the issues that homeowners are facing is we need regulatory certainty. Markets do not like uncertainty, and I have never seen uncertainty like this in the marketplace ever, and it is totally driven by politics. It's every time Barney Frank or the president or anyone comes out of a Senate Banking Committee or a House Banking Committee and starts speaking ad hoc in the hallway there, it affects the marketplace out there. And the best thing that could happen in Washington is you just took the air conditioning out of the Capitol for the rest of the year so they wouldn't go back there, then they couldn't talk about anything. And if they could just announce that we're not going to change any regulations here for the next 12 months so the marketplace could adjust.
As a businessman, when you say regulations, really those are the rules. And you cannot make any decisions on where to put your money if you're feeling that in 3 months they're going to change those rules and you're going to be out your money.
Right.
Give me an example of that.
Well, here is an example that affects consumers, for instance. This huge federal apparatus has been created now in the way you get an appraisal for a home mortgage. Well, an appraisal used to cost $350. Now it's pushing $500. And it's just because they have to have this new federal system on picking an appraiser in this anonymous way. Well, who pays for that? Well, the consumer pays for that. That gets passed right on to that individual that you were talking about earlier. And then we have a very small amount of products available now because of regulatory uncertainty. People aren't interested in doing anything that might actually meet the needs of the marketplace. Today, if you wanted to have a a home mortgage on your home, and you wanted to borrow 50% loan to value, and let's say you had $2 million in the bank, but because you have $2 million in the bank, you only took maybe $20,000 of income out of your business last year.
Right.
You cannot get a mortgage in the United States of America today because you didn't have enough stated income on your...
Even though your assets are more than enough to cover the loan.
That's correct. All those kinds of products have been absolutely taken off the market. And those are real serious problems, and it's strictly politically driven, and it's the regulatory uncertainty that's causing problems for people out there.
We've got a few minutes left, so let's talk about some solutions. What is it, not only here in Colorado, but also nationally, that we could do to take care of those certainty problems? Tell me, I want to make sure that my home value continues to go up, but someday when my kids are old enough, I want them to be able to afford a home as well. What is it that we should do? What is it we should look for? Is now a good time to buy a house?
Well, I don't know what the solution is. I do always worry about unintended consequences, whatever they do, that whatever the government does is good or bad. Because I think back in the 1980s when you had the Resolution Trust Corporation to handle all the bad loans of the savings and loans. And after a while, the RTC would take over, say, a shopping center, and they would want to get tenants in this empty shopping center, so they would slash the rates, the lease rates there. And so then the shopping center down the street, which was doing fine, all of a sudden they can't compete against this RTC product. So they go in foreclosure, that becomes an RTC product, and it feeds on itself.
Yeah, people forget that the RTC caused as many, if not more, problems than it solved.
Right, because the image is that the RTC did it well. I mean,
people
they
have
had
very short memories.
Yeah. Well,
that wasn't the way it worked.
And then the other thing about that is interesting enough that I've looked at. I think we should do a PhD dissertation on this, because I'm convinced the people who bought up the RTC assets made far more money. They had to made far more money than the people who had the original asset and lost it to the RTC. Because if you were able to buy up their notes or their real estate for 20 cents on the dollar, and then the value of it a couple of years later surpassed what the previous peak was, I mean, they made a lot of money in that. And so I sort of wonder, who's going to make money from this current debacle?
He's sitting right there. who is going to make money from this, and what should we do? We've only got about a minute left. Tell me what it is we ought to know.
The most important thing we have to do is we have to insist that our political leadership stops focusing on bailing out everybody in Wall Street and Washington and starts focusing on those forgotten Americans that are in the middle, the ones that are going to be left paying the bill on all of this. And we've got to take that very seriously, because those forgotten people that the government has completely neglected in this whole debate and in the whole regulatory structure that's being put in place right now, those people, if they're not healthy, and those people are us, if they're not healthy, our economy is never going to recover. And we've got to have Main Street healthy, and we've got to get the resources that we need back down into the people that are playing by the rules.
One of those resources for information is your new website. I want to make sure to get that out. Insider Real Estate News.
InsiderRealEstateNews.com.
When I go there, what am I going to find?
You're going to, unfortunately, you're going to see a photo of myself, and then you'll see real estate stories. You'll see stories about foreclosures. You'll see stories about
the news is still there. One more time. Insider Real Estate.
InsiderRealEstateNews.com.
Sir, thank you. I'm out of time. Thank you. Look for us next week. Listen for me late nights on 850 KOA. Tell a friend.
Bamboozle, nuka, noozle, bippity, bop, she-call. You jibber jab, bamboozle, nuka, noozle, bippity, bop, she-call. I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it off.